So this is 11-1, designing a study. Um, all this stuff today is kind of, what's the word? Common sense, I guess. You guys kind of already know all these. So without even reading a thing, okay, I'm just going to look at the words with you. Bias. You guys have heard of bias and unbiased, right? Can somebody give me an example of either of them, biased or unbiased, like in the real world, not necessarily a math class? See, okay. Something else I could put on the video. You can't think of anything? Huh? Oh. Like, just give me an example. Don't be fancy. You're right, but yeah. Yes. Like my mom, no. My kids are the cutest kids. It's not a fact, but it's my biased opinion, right? So, that's bias, right? So something where, like you said, an opinion, it's not a factual statement. It's not a black and white typically, too. Okay? Um, Random sample. You've got a survey, an experiment, an observational study. Have you all seen a survey before? You've taken those here, even, right? Right? Um, Experiment. You've done that in some science class, I would assume, right? Um, Observational study. We'll talk about that in a second as well. You've seen all these things, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to give you the super mathy words for it, but you've seen it all, so you kind of already know what these things are. So bias is an error that results in a misrepresentation of members of a population. So bias, again, it's a misrepresentation. That's true. If I said my kids are the cutest kids in the entire world, that's true to me, but that's a misrepresentation of what's true, obviously. Random sample, members of the population are selected by chance. It's supposed to be random, right? A survey is data collected from responses given by members regarding their characteristics, behaviors, or opinions. So, let's see here, survey. That's not really a survey. What survey have you done here? You've done one, but I can't think of like what it was over. Have you done like a survey monkey here, something? Oh yeah, that's a good one. Whether you wanted win in the morning or the afternoon, that was a survey, right? Experiment is a sample divided into two groups. So you have experimental and you have control. Experimental is the one that undergoes the change. It's the one you experiment on, basically. And then the control is the one that does not undergo a change. So, for example, in the real world, whenever they come out with like a new drug, obviously I'm not a doctor, so this may not be super perfect, but whenever they come out with something new like that, they will give, I don't know, like 20 people, right? They'll give 20 people, tell them that they're going to be part of this experiment, and they give, I don't know, 5 a placebo. Have you heard of that? Right, placebo, like it's a pill, but it's not really a pill, like a sugar pill or something. They give 5 a placebo, they give like 15 the actual pill, and they like see how it changed. Again, I'm totally making numbers up. That might not be true at all. I'm just giving you an example. So the people who got the actual pill would be the experimental part of the group. The people who got the placebo would be the control. They haven't changed anything. They haven't changed their diet. They haven't changed their medications. They haven't upped their workout routine. They haven't done anything different to them. So it's helpful to see if the pill actually helps people or not. Does that make sense? Okay. Observational study. Members are measured or observed without being affected by the study. For example, when Mr. Lewis comes in to observe my classes, technically we're supposed to behave the way that we always do, right? Some classes clam up and don't say anything. Some classes say more than they normally would, but the general idea is that he doesn't affect our behavior. So if, for example, someone were to misbehave, he is not supposed to step in. He is just supposed to observe and see how I react to the situation. Does that make sense to you? That's an observational study. When people go into the wild, like, was it Jane Goodall that went in with the gorillas? Is that right? I'm going to sound like an idiot. That's right? Yeah. Someone special. I can't think of their name. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about? Okay. When you going to the zoo isn't necessarily an observational study, right? Because they're not really in their natural habitat. But there are people who go into the wilderness and they actually live among the animals. That would be an observational study. You're not affecting anything around them. If they get eaten, they get eaten. You don't step in. Do you see what I'm saying? I think you get it. Okay, that took a turn. Um, Determine whether each survey question is biased or unbiased. Explain your reasoning if it's biased. Which student council candidate's performance platform do you support? So just go with your gut. Do you think it's biased or unbiased? Typically, going with your gut is pretty good, except for on question 1 because you're not used to it yet. Let me give you another example of what the question could be. Is anyone in here on student council? Are you like president or something, or no? Okay, so if I were to ask you, who do you want for president, Caitlin or Aaliyah? Aren't there other people who maybe wanted to be president? Do you see what I'm saying? Basically, if you limit the options and they had more to choose from, but you limited it, that would be a biased question. This one's actually unbiased because they're saying, hey, out of all of them, which do you prefer? Does that make sense? So this one's unbiased. Now, if I had said, if Aaliyah, Caitlin, Hunter, and Bradley were all running for president, and I said, who do you want for president, Aaliyah or Caitlin? Well, that's biased. I just told you the 2 girls. I didn't tell you all 4 of the people. Do you see what I'm saying? I limited your options. That would be biased. Is that okay? Do you get it now? Okay. Which is your favorite football team, the Cowboys or the Steelers? Hmm? Biased. Why is it biased? Yeah, there's only 2 options, right? What if I want to say the Colts? You didn't give me the option. I don't like football at all. I know. I like basketball. I don't get football. There's too many rules. Like, even when I'm watching it with somebody who knows what they're talking about and I'm standing right next to them, I'm like, why did what? And they're like, I don't know. So if even the people who know football can't tell me why they just stopped the play, I don't get it. Well, that just hurts my feelings then. I think I like basketball because it's like, go, 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 go. You know, at football, I feel like they start again, start again, start again. I don't get it. I think if I got it, I'd like it better. Sorry, Garrett. I can just see him over there like, you're stupid. Football's not stupid. You're stupid. Plus, basketball is in a controlled environment. I don't have to worry about whether it's raining or snowing. I don't have to worry about my hair. It's fine. I'm just kidding. Okay, back. I really shouldn't have recorded today. Obviously, we are people watching. It's a Monday and it's raining, and we're kind of over it. So sorry. Okay. Determine whether each situation describes a survey, an experiment, or an observational study. Then identify the sample and suggest a population from which it may have been selected. So first things first, is it a sample, a survey? I said that wrong. A survey, an experiment, or an observational study. It's pretty easy to process of eliminate at least one option, and then it's usually down to 2, and we kind of have to like figure it out. So a research group randomly selects 80 college students, half of whom took a physics course in high school, and compares their grades in a college physics course. Let's start with this. Is it a survey? No, it's not a survey, right? So now we're down to experiment or observational study. An experiment is where you take a group of people and you alter something. You change something. You give them a pill. You tell them to exercise more. You tell them to exercise less. You know what I mean? You alter something about them and you see what happened. Are we doing that? No. So this would be observational study. Do you guys get that? People still lived their lives like normal. You just kind of observed what happened. Okay? So our sample, that's the next part of the question. Sample, okay? I'm just going to tell you, I think it's kind of hard to come up with on your own, but once you've seen some examples, it's usually a little bit easier. I'm going to say the sample is the physics students selected. Okay? Because it's not all physics students, it's just the ones that they chose. Does that make sense to you? And then the population could be, we're not 100% sure because it said what could be. I put all college students in a physics course. All college students in a physics course. So basically, don't overthink it. Yes, this is specific, but it's not, I feel like it's not rocket science. It's not too terrible. Okay. You guys good with that one? For the most part, anyway. Maybe the sample and population is still hard. 2 more. Anyone still need that page? Okay. A TV network mails a questionnaire to randomly selected people across the country to determine whether they prefer watching sitcoms or dramas. Is it, what were our choices? survey, experiment, or observational study? It's a survey. They literally use the word questionnaire. That's a survey, right? Our sample, I said people that receive the questionnaire. Oops, I forgot an N. Dang it. Questionnaire. There we go. Sorry. Does that make sense to you? The people that got the survey are the people that are the sample. The population, though, I put all viewers, and let me explain why other options wouldn't have worked. I can't write today. Gracious. All viewers. So I don't want to say everyone in the world, right? Because why would you send a survey to someone who doesn't even have a TV? That doesn't make sense. That's just a waste of your time and money, right? Does that make sense to you? So all viewers are the people that you're going to send the survey to possibly, but you don't want to send it to every single person. You don't have time for that, so you send it to a sample of people. Is that making sense? Okay. 17. An engineer is planning to test 50 metal samples to determine whether a new titanium alloy has a higher strength than a different alloy. Is it a survey? No. Is it an experiment? Maybe, we're not sure. Is it an observational study? Maybe, we're not sure. So we at least could get rid of survey, right? Everybody's good there. With this, the way they worded it, I feel like isn't super obvious, but they're planning to test blah, blah, blah. They're going to be testing these different types of metal to see if one's better than another. So wouldn't you say it's probably an experiment? Do you see what I'm saying? If they were just observing it, they wouldn't do anything to it. So the fact that they're testing it one versus another, observational study means you're literally just sitting back and observing something. So this is more of an experiment, I think. So this is an experiment. The sample I said was the metals tested. Whatever metals they test is the sample. And then the population. I said the sample affected by the study, and I'll explain that in a second too. Let's slow down. Gracious. Sample. Maybe if I speak slower, it'll catch up. Affected by the study. Is that kind of okay? It's so easy to overthink these. It really is. Don't. Just go with your gut. The sample population can be a little bit tricky because there's not a black and white answer to those typically. The sample there kind of is, but the population, you could have said more than what I said and it would probably still be okay. Is anyone confused? Okay. So here's the plan. Let me actually try to save this before I start talking, because if not, then it doesn't save for me like that one day. I should have done. Yeah.